All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 87, Deuces. So, fellas, what's up? How are you? What's good, man?
Man, rough week at work this week, but you know what? Uh, all those fellas still got a job. You know what I'm saying? Still working out that hour work. Killing me, man. It's killing me. But at this point, at least second string, right? I wouldn't be a starter. I'd probably come in on nickel or dime package, but other than that, man, look, man, I'm happy to be here, and just ready for a good show, and talk about some good stuff, and keep my brother's mentals straight, give us that little bit of positivity going into the rest of the week.
Absolutely. CB, it's good, man.
Hey, not even gonna lie, I took a nap before the show. That's where I'm at right now. And like I'm looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to being able to sleep in. Looking forward to the fights this weekend. Big UFC fan, so there's a stacked card on Saturday, and then it goes without saying because we've been talking about it for a while. Super excited for the movie that's on the horizon. So I'm refreshed from my nap and I'm ready to go.
Bet. Superfly.
Yeah, what's good, man? Just day by day getting used to being able to live without stress, you know what I'm saying? And as much stress, it's been, day after day a little bit easier to do that. And also picking up some new knowledge, been digging into some books I posted on social media, also doing some ancestry, tracking down of, family roots and stuff like that. Learning a lot of things I didn't know. So, excited about that stuff. And, I feel like I'm growing into the next chapter of my life. You know what I'm saying? So.
Absolutely. That's what's up. Yeah, so it's a lot to cover in a little bit of time. CB mentioned a movie that was on the horizon. Actually, I've never been shock dropped by a movie before, but
Right.
definitely, yeah. So I will be staying up. My plan was to watch Coming to America tomorrow, and technically it may be tomorrow by the time I actually get to it. But it released literally probably about an hour ago on Amazon. So because ignorant people like to ruin it on social media and assume that everybody watched it the first when it came out. I'll probably stay up and watch it tonight just so I won't get hit with any spoilers tomorrow.
Hey, real quick, what's the spoiler window? Like, how long is it before you could talk about it?
I mean, now that it's at home, at least a week. Before the movie theaters, it would be.
We was talking about doing a show on Sunday. Like,
well, that's the thing. You don't have to give spoilers. We can just give reviews on how we thought. Did it meet our expectations? Was it, was the bar set too high? So we can still talk about it without giving away, key points. I mean, I'm intrigued.
I feel like baseball. You said because we're at home now. It's like a 48-hour window now that you got
48 hours.
You think it's okay? I mean, it's
so
it's
Sunday we good then, Renee.
Yeah. I mean, we won't give away no spoilers. I mean, not that it's probably much to spoil. It's probably not a mystery. The spoiler would be is it good? Was it worth the 30+ year wait? I mean, I'm excited. I had my
surprise. Guess what? Arsenio and Eddie played all the characters.
Like, is there an analog for this? 30 years between movies? Can you think of anything that stretches like that? Like, I think Godfather is probably about 15 years, 10 or 15 years, but I don't remember Bad Boys. That's like 20, right? Not 30. Like,
I got one, but it's not a movie. What was that? Old Girl Freeze album from 106 and Park.
I mean, I know they're getting ready to do like TV shows have returned. That's how you know ideas are kind of running out, like
Reunions
TV shows.
and shit.
Yeah, like they bringing back Punky Brewster.
They're bringing back. They're doing a real world reunion also.
I saw that the real world is coming back. The original cast, like
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're also in like this age of nostalgia.
I ain't watch Power neither.
Right?
My bad, CB.
Go ahead.
But yeah, like we're in this age of nostalgia right now. So it's like everything that I feel was cool for us when we were younger is like the newer generation, like a lot of these kids, they're getting kind of just introduced to it because we keep talking about this stuff. And so I think that because a lot of brands and a lot of these companies have grown and maybe they haven't experienced the same type of success that they had like back in the day. I mean, we talk about Hollywood and them just retreading ideas over and over and over and over again. Like, you know, two of my favorite movie franchises of all time, and it's not because all the movies are great, but Star Wars, they didn't need to make the prequels or the new sequels, you know what I mean? But they're still able to make money off of it and everything. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but Eddie got the bag from Amazon for Come to America, didn't he?
Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing is probably a smart move. That at first we were like, he sold it to Amazon, but if you think about it, we're still in this pandemic. We're still in the same place we were when we heard that it was coming to the theaters in December, and then he sold it, and here we are in March after it got pushed back. Still in the same position, and now see it at home. I do miss the movie theater a little bit, just the pop, the atmosphere, but you can recreate that at home. But yeah, I'm interested to see. Just they've been doing a lot of press.
Popcorn and spill it all over your basement. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right there at the movie theater.
They've been doing a lot of press. I've seen the press kits come out to like his celebrity friends. They got like these big Coming to America boxes with crowns and stuff in there. And they actually, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have seen it before we have. Like, if you're in the circle, you already seen it. So we'll see. But with that, let's wrap. So I'm gonna lead off with it. Let's just peel the Band-Aid off and let's get to it. So this week, Ann Hebert, a Nike executive, higher up, she's been in that position for 25 plus years, stepped down after a Business Week article was published about not her, but her son's lucrative business. You can't even say side business because that's his mainstream of income. It's his business. A 19-year-old kid named Justin Hebert, I believe. And as this is going to be some sneakerhead talk for those who are watching don't really know the game of sneakers. So his mom is an exec at Nike. Like, she's making probably marketing decisions, a lot of intel decisions on releases and shoes and brand, whatever. But her son is in the sport of buying sneakers for retail and reselling them at a higher price. But not just any sneakers, like he's buying the hard to get upper echelon sneakers. We're talking Jordans, we're talking Yeezys, and a couple maybe one or two other type of shoes. But it's been confirmed he was using a bot. That us who are sneaker addicts, every Saturday or so we get on Sneakers app and we hope that we got or this morning, right? And we hope that we got a shot at a pair of exclusive kicks or hard to get kicks as a first line of defense. We hope we get it there for retail before it hits that secondary market, double the price, or depending on how hard the shoe is. But yeah, so and he's botting too, and that's what we compete against the sneakerheads. There are people who have privy to bots, or they use programs to pretty much scour the internet and jump in line or whatever in front of everybody, and they double the numbers of how much stock they get, whatever, so they can sell $100, $110 chunky donkey for $1,500, something like that, right? So of this 19-year-old storage facility. Now I recognize those boxes. That's definitely a Jordan box, right? I recognize those off-white black fives. Definitely recognize those. We all recognize those. Yeah, and so the name, you can look up the name of his business. I'm not gonna add to the guy's sales, but yeah. So Business Week had published an article saying that a credit card of came back to the mom with like $132,000 worth of charges on the right. So I made, I'm fact checking. I read all this stuff, so make sure I don't say anything wrong. But they said that Ann made Nike aware of this last year, like when her son's business started taking off. She made Nike aware of it, and at the time, it wasn't an issue. In fact, they didn't ask her to step down. She stepped down on her own. I mean, at this point, it was, I don't want to speculate, but she did step down on her own. But fellas,
you want to jump off?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna jump all the way off. So it's a couple sides to this. The way I imagine it. First of all, I would like to say he's dumb as hell for even putting his mom in that situation. Regardless if she brought it to the table of the company or whatnot, like, that just. I guess that's the true sneakerhead in me, that you're doing this outside of what we would call the normal ramifications of a sneakerhead. Like, I get you slanging and that's a hustle, but I feel like the code to that hustle is where you now kind of step over that line where if anybody saw this little frail dude on the street, he getting beat up like on site, and it's because of him violating the code of the sneakerhead, right? I'm not saying that because again, I'm old. Like I'll call it, I'm an old head, right? When it comes to, I don't resell my shoes. Every shoe that I bought is in my closet or it's in the storage unit or whatever. But I think that he overstepped by doing the whole bot situation. I feel like if it's a hustle, clearly there's a market for it. So there's a way that you can do it. I mean, clearly back in the day, cats that can get their hands on 2 pair knew that they wore one, you sold the other pair. But it wasn't like I'm about to go buy a whole warehouse and kind of like make the market the way that it is. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like now you're starting to downgrade the market for the sneakerheads, where at this point I even made the comment, hell, damn all the high end shoes or like the ones that everybody wants. I'm gonna be rocking these Air Max 1s for the rest of my life, and I'm about to start customizing. And it's like you now have to kind of create your own lane, because you then realize like you see somebody with those shoes on, and it's not that you hating, you just downgrade the situation because you know what's happening out there in the market, right? So that's my side of it. Whether she stepped down or she got that knock on the door and it was the dude with the security jacket on that was like, we can either walk you out or how you want to do this. But yeah, to put his mom's in that situation, I know everybody's like, well, did she know? Clearly you get a child. Well, again, we from a different, see, that's the other thing. See, I want to go dive into that, because please believe that if there was a charge on somebody's mama's card that was over even a small dot,
$30, right?
What did you buy? I told you what your limit was. You still went over, like taxes, the whole, like they on it. So for her not to just be on some 100,000 like it's nothing. I mean, granted, that's the type of money they're getting. It's just bad. Like it put a bad taste in the game for me, to the point where it almost kind of shuns you away from wanting to even like be a part of it. Like that's just how real it is.
You want to go, CB?
It's the same thing that you just said. Like it puts a bad taste in your mouth as the dudes that we've been in line. We've stood in line. Early in the morning. Waiting. Gates still down at the mall or whatever. They're just letting you in early because they know it's about to drop and everything. Like we've been there. So for us, the game now is just so different than what it was when we were kids. And it's just fishy because, like, one, yeah, you're 19. And from what I read, and Kaleo, correct me if I'm wrong from what you read, but I read that he like willingly showed this bank statement because he was basically just backing up his claim of how much money they were making off of the business. And so that's how they linked it in. Like, it was one of those things where, yeah, at some point, like, this kid you're gonna get his name and you're gonna eventually connect him to who his mom is, right? And 25 years at Nike, who know, like, and she's a woman, you know what I mean? Like, to put that amount of work into a career, and when we know that in basically any setting, it's harder for women in general. So now she's, who knows what opportunities she has. She probably still has opportunities, but it's one of those things where from the sneaker standpoint, you're looking at him like, okay, this dude, all these Nikes that we've been trying to get. And she was involved in the sneakers app. Like, that's something that I think needs to be brought up, is that she was one of the executives that was involved with sneakers, the app that we're always complaining about, because we rarely ever get dubs. So it's one of those things where it really just, we already hated resellers, right? Like, it's one of those things where we promote wearing your kicks, like, even if they're grails. We're the guys that promote, like, creating memories in these kicks. So that's what you have to talk about, rather than just having them on some pedestal in the crib for everyone to look at. Like, we're out there actually trying to wear them and stuff. And so it's one of those things where it does put a sour taste in your mouth. And it's one of those where I'm like, yeah, I'm not as inclined to enter into some of these raffles. I'm not as, hard pressed to get, everything like I have been in the past. Now it's like, all right, you know what? If there's certain specific pairs that I want, maybe I'll just save up and bite the bullet, and pay the resale if I really want them that badly. But to have a mom who's connected specifically to Nike, you're posting all these pics of all these Nike sneakers, and you're reselling them. We already hated resellers to begin with, because it's not like, that's like he said, we wear our kicks. It's not, it's one of those things where we might flip them if we know we're not going to be giving them the love and affection that they deserve. You pass them on. Like, that's something that happens. But it really just put a mark on the game. And honestly, because we know that there are some pretty hyped up Jordans that are dropping this weekend, that once all the L's start rolling in, the memes are going to go off. Because we already know, once the story came out, there was already a bunch of memes. And I know that the internet is just going to have a field day this weekend, because, we kind of got some insight and it feels like Nike's just been backdooring sneakers to this guy. And that makes us as consumers feel even worse about it, especially on the back of the trophy room situation. So it's just like, all right, well, us as the casuals, as the everyday man, we don't even have a chance. And the whole bot situation, everyone that's been trying to get these PS5s and the new Xboxes and everything, they had never dealt with this stuff before. And they've actually gotten a taste of what it feels like to jump into these queues on Best Buy or GameStop or whatever, and to have these consoles sell out instantly. Like, wait, what happened? Like, yeah, us sneakerheads, we've been dealing with that for years now, and we all hate it. Like, it's one of
people
those
trying
things.
to get the vaccine.
Yo, it's crazy, man. And it like we were talking about, like, it really puts a sour taste in my mouth.
There ain't nothing dope about sitting in front of 50 pairs of you know what I'm saying, rare or whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I forgot what's that shit called? What's that dude? The dude who does the off-white. There ain't shit dope about that. Like, it ain't never was dope. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
right.
That's, you know what I'm saying? This is just an embarrassment of riches. You know what I mean? Anybody with you know, a black card can do the same thing. You're not special. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people gotta be clear on, man. And secondly, like, you know, it is a, you know, I first you brought this up a little bit, CB. I don't think we know whether or not Nike was backdooring these or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just because there's a paper trail doesn't mean they wasn't okay with it. And they've been working on the scarcity model for, you know, over a decade now, right? So, like, you know, I feel like there needs to be more investigation, you know, beyond what's been done. But then on top of that, it's just like, you know, this is not, you know, what we here for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some other shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like all they did was just devalue the dopeness that was there in the first place. You know what I mean? And I think most people are gonna be on to the next, and you know what I'm saying, trying to do something else, that because people just, you know, they fuck it up.
And a couple of things that I saw as people were responding to this, you know, well-known sneakerheads that work for various different websites or whatever. Like a couple of them are posing questions as, you know, bot. We already know the competing against the bot is the issue, right? Do you make the bot illegal? I mean, because at the end of the day, these companies, Nike, Adidas, whatever, they're still getting the sales. You know, it's just the consumer who's not getting what they want. Again, at this point, it makes that shoe that much harder to get, right? So, oh, okay, now, you know, when a bot so I didn't realize, I mean, for a bot to work, I mean, I was under the assumption that it dumps you in line, right? It gets you some of those algorithms to hit on sneakers, but does it get? I didn't realize that a bot could get you that much inventory.
Yeah, I mean, it's just literally automatically add to cart, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, millions and millions of times per second. You know what I'm saying, or per minute.
That's crazy.
If you look at it, how fast, and you talking about computers, so you know he got some homies set up to where they all online. They got 2-3 between each other. It's easy for them to you can almost get you at least a few hundred in no time with just 4 or 5 of your homeboys that clearly 19 years old and just sit there and just bam bam bam. Like,
Dude, beyond that, now you got cloud computing, so you can set up a server, or you can set up several servers, and they and some scripts, and it's all automated. You know what I'm saying? You're not even like back in the day. It was a thing where you get your boys. Y'all all got 10 tabs up on the browser, and everyone's hitting. You know what I'm saying? Add to cart. Like, nah, this is some other shit now.
Yeah.
Gen Z, right? Whatever they are.
Well, yeah, even with that, with the server, because like I said, I mean, with us with the firm and all with the server stuff, with the, especially when you talk about cloud and global and stuff like that, you're literally, once that script is written, it's hard to beat that. All you're doing is just really the maintenance is to make sure that the script is as strong as it was when you did it before. And that's monetized. Like when you go in there and create another one, just to see that you get the same amount of input out when you do it, so that when these hard drops come out for these type of shoes, they already know like how much they're gonna get off of that one push of the button. So,
do you feel like, I mean, the culture of being a sneakerhead is always the chase, right? It's always got to have the most rarest, you know. Sometimes they can be, you know, doesn't even matter if they're in good condition, top quality, you know, they can be beat up, because I've seen a pair of Jordan 1s that were dogged go for thousands and thousands of dollars, right? I mean, it's just imagine as the point of having like the original, you know, some collectors have the shoe, some collectors go for the history of the shoe. And I think, like I said, the chase behind it is what makes you the sneakerhead. It's the hard to get thing. So I remember getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, me and a couple guys, and we staking out the night before which shopping center we're gonna hit, as far as standing at the door for like 3 or 4 hours for the store to open, right? And so I remember that, and that was the feeling of being a thing. Now, like, all that's taken. I remember going to Delaware with E. I remember going to Delaware, getting up to go get the Olympic sixes. I remember going to Delaware with E. And I mean, and one, that was a great road trip. We just cruised, man. It was just, I mean, it was a great bonding trip. And we got there. I mean, and that's at that point when they had started the stand in line just to get the raffle ticket. Like, the evolution of getting these sneakers
Yep.
has been crazy. But yeah, to have these bots, it takes away from the sneakerhead culture for and most people who are botting. Let's be honest, they're in it for the resale.
See, like for me, I think I'm not really the sneakerhead. I'm more just about being fresh. See, Noah know what it is right there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm more about just it's a whole outfit, like it's a whole like look and wardrobe that you're going after, not necessarily the shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can buy a shoe, but it's like what you do with it after that. You know what I'm saying? That makes it dope. You know, or the reason why you wearing the story. You know what I'm saying? That's to me more important than even the shoe itself.
Well, that's the nostalgia.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's the nostalgia about it, right? So like when we talk about the different shoes, like the story, right? Like the fact is, like there's like and what we call like the holy grails, or like what we would consider our top ones that we're searching for, that when they come out, everybody has them, and it's because you have the story that goes behind it, or what it is that you feel for that shoe. Like clearly all mine, the Bel Air 5s, pops you online if you hear me, the Bel Air 5s, size 9, or the Kobe Grinches, size 9, just in case you hear me again, all of
trying to double up.
Right. But like those are the ones, like you said, I think that's because you have a story behind it. I mean, we've heard even, our generation say that the new generation killed it for us because we rocked the Jays because of watching them play, remembering where we were when he was playing, the game he played.
I want to be like Mike.
Or even that year, you'd be like, 95 was the shit. And you just remember all the drops in 95 and like the different shoes that came out. They just getting it because they see that we hyping it up, and it's like all of a sudden, I guess that's the cool. Like they don't have nothing for themselves. And that's the bad part, because really, if you think about it, the hype from the sneakerheads are coming from our generation. That's just where it's at, because that's where it really hit. And now it's being watered down by kids that are just like, oh, I see somebody else, so that's why I want them. When that wasn't the reason why we was grabbing the shoe in the first place.
I mean, just think about it. The Concords are our generation, right? And that shoe will go down. Well, the 11 silhouette in general will go down as like we made that shoe. Mike wore it. We were in awe of it because first of all, it was totally against the colorway of what the Chicago Bulls were wearing for the most part, right? And it was the first like we saw patent leather. Like the shoe was just when you saw it, it was like Dorothy's red shoes and Wizard of Oz, right? They were just different. And we made that shoe, and that's why every time the Concord comes out, it will always be something behind it. No matter if you have a pair already, it's just what it means. And a lot of people who haven't even seen Jordan play were alive when the Concords really dropped. They're feeding off of what we know. They're taking it and then they're flipping it.
Real quick, did Jordan make the Concord tight, or did AI make the Concord what it is? To me, I think it's AI. Because he was rocking it at Georgetown in the NCAA tournament and was setting culture. You know what I'm saying? Like even more so than MJ. That might be blasphemy, but I think that's what happened.
I forgot
you definitely got to give AI some credit. I
forgot Georgetown had those too. And in fact, I think Georgetown 3s come out this year.
See, those are a couple months. Know what it is, man.
I think that's coastal. I'm gonna let CB, because I know you was trying to say something, but real quick, I think that's coastal, right? Because when I remember that initial drop came out, again, where I was at, and even playing ball, like traveling ball AAU, like we saw that when we saw the Jordan, when he stepped on the court, and everybody was like, "What the hell are those?" Like, because at that point, everybody was still like, "What was he gonna wear?" Right? Once we saw it, and then that was also the year that Scotty had his shoes. So like the whole sneaker game when the patent leathers came out was everybody who was somebody on the court that you was, I mean, from the Jason Kidds to the Gary Payton, like all of them around that time, you was stalking the when the game was on just to get a picture. I still remember to this day recording games on some VHS trying to rewind it to see what they look like because you know the East Bay.
And we had poor TV.
Right.
Like you couldn't really tell what they was. You just had to guess.
Okay.
Right.
The East Bay wasn't coming out for like at least
exactly
2 or 3 weeks, so you knew you wasn't gonna see him until the East Bay came out. Like that's where we were at. That's the true sneakerhead of when you saw him in the East Bay. Like, oh, them hoes is hard. You saw the 149.99, and you was like, okay, like I know I gotta hop on East.
Let me go get this money order and send it to East Bay. That's what it was.
It's funny because you think about it. Literally, the majority of the hyped up products are the stuff that came out in our generation. Like you think about, we're talking about dunks, we're talking about the Jordans 1 through 14 or whatever. Like, are like the new performance J's that are out. Those aren't selling out and then going for crazy amounts online. You know what I mean? It's when like when these cool gray 11s come back in December, like it's going to be a shit show. Like we know that it's going to be crazy. We know that there's maybe some people in the chat that hold those very near and dear to their heart, extra special. But it's one of those things where literally, like you were talking about, like, these are things that are part of our childhood or like they were an integral part of our life growing up. And so a lot of these resellers these days, these aren't guys that are our age. You know what I mean? Like the guys our age are opening up actual shops and they're managing sneaker stores or skate shops or something like that. And they're doing it that way. That's not 19, 20-year-old kids that are just getting all the pairs so that they can just flip them because they know, like we were talking about, that we're going to buy them. And one of the things that I think is funny to point out is that a lot of like the sneaker guys that I follow on YouTube, like one of the dudes was bringing up because all the sneaker dudes on YouTube and everything, they might get sent stuff too, but still at the same deal. They hate resellers the same way. And they talk about how, you know, it's really the brands that are missing out on this money because say they're selling these dunks for $110, but they could be selling them for $400, or they could just be making the right amount of stock so that everybody gets a pair. It's really the brands that are missing out on some profit margin unless there's some way that they're getting a kick. So it just seems like not enough is being done to villainize these people that we feel like should be villainized. And, you know, at the end of the day, we still want to feel like we have a fair shot, whether that's in life, whether that's in sneakers. Everyone just wants to feel like they got a fair shot. You know what I mean?
You know, they getting a kickback, man. Like when Napster came out, they've got the fucking federal government to shut that shit down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the internet is not like some like end all be all can get away with everything. You know what I'm saying? They coming out to Facebook now. They coming out to Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like the Nike and Adidas are winning off of the resellers. You know what I'm saying? Like make no mistake about it.
Before we jump into the Deuces portion of the show, because you know a couple people want to know. I mean, I put a post out there about some true shit, and a lot of people want to know what the Deuces means. But before we get to that, let's do this one. Saw this one this morning. So Square and Tidal are pretty much umbrellaed now. Jay-Z has sold majority shares. He still owns stock in Tidal. He's not completely gone, but he has sold the majority shares of Tidal to guy who owns Square, who also owns Twitter. And Hove cashed in for $297 million. All right.
He had a hell of a first quarter.
That part,
because
right?
He also sold Ace of Spades a couple weeks ago. Like,
we didn't talk about that, but yeah,
he's a business man.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, you know, Hove is cashing out big time, right? So is there something else in the pipe? Well, we don't know. I mean, Hove always is on to the next one, no pun intended. But it's just like, you know, the questions I first had now I have answers to. You know, what's going to happen to Tidal? Because Tidal was the first music streaming service owned by the artists, right? So apparently, Hove is going to go and he's going to join the board of directors of Square. So, I mean, he's still going to have a say no matter what. I mean, it's his baby, and the artists will still own the portion of Tidal. So, like, no one is really losing, except I mean, Jay is just selling his majority shares for $297 million, and apparently the plan has always been for the artists and independent artists to have a platform to put their music out. So apparently, this is going to be the project. This is going to help put that in place to get independent artists have a platform for their stuff. So, we'll go around. If you guys got anything about say about that?
Yo, the data that's about to coalesce or mix and mingle out of this is going to be crazy, and be ready for Tidal to become, you know, a Netflix, a Amazon, like a player beyond just music. And that's what's happening next. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. You know, you should never think of this as, you know, this is a streaming service. This is not a stream. This is not built to give us music. It's built for us to give it data. You know what I'm saying? And when you start marrying payment data with content data, that becomes really powerful. So, you know what I mean? Just why I think this is, you're going to see more these financial companies trying to partner up with these content streaming companies in the future. And I think it's just a brilliant move by Hove to have a foresight, you know, and Jack to, you know, them to make that deal happen. So, in his business.
So what is Square? Can someone break that down for people who aren't aware?
Yeah, Square is a payment. It originally is a payment, I guess, method, if you will. You know, they have a little device that plugs into a cell phone or an iPad. You can receive payments via credit card. Square also owns Cash App.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's you know, a method of electronic payment, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But the data they have, you know what I mean? The amount, think about all the transactions you're getting off of Square, you know, and Square does more than just the payments through, you know, those devices. They also have, you know, point of sale on websites. So, you know what I mean? Just the collection of data where people are shopping, plus what people are consuming. When you think about putting ads on those platforms, is super powerful, man.
Yeah, point of sale, right? Exactly.
Yeah, the piece to that also, if you look at, remember where Cash App initially started and where it's at now, to how big of a drop was it to throw out that notification that you can start buying stocks off of Cash App, right? So that what I'm saying is,
and Bitcoin,
right? So if you look at it like you said, at the end of the day, anybody who knows anything about financials knows that data is data entry or data period is more lucrative than cash itself, because you're able to fluidly push out anything you want to all this data, and you really don't even have an expectation of what's coming back, because everything that comes that way, you know, pushes it out. You give it new streams of where you can start spending your money at, you know what I mean? And that's where it's all about. It's your data. The thing with that though, with Hove, that whole cannabis situation is really where he about to dive his money into. You talk about over the amount of money that he cashed out from Tidal is actually low man money on the cannabis side when you talk about in the legal areas, right? And I think him wanting to have the minorities have their small businesses, so that you got these states that are kicking the, you know, the crime off the, you know, off their books. Clearly, you know, these cats can do math. Clearly, you know, they know how to use a scale. So
and what are they going to be using to sell? Square.
Right. It's all set up. Like, and that's what I said. You look at it, you know, again, you value anybody in the game or just anybody in general who has a chess snake in mind, know that it's for the long run and not just, I'm gonna do this one thing where, the young white boy that we was talking about, he was making checkers, you know what I'm saying, whole playing, chess moves. So
right, exactly what Pops is saying right there.
Absolutely,
we already know.
Yep.
They're just trying to lead you to the next sale,
Yeah, and that's the beauty of finance, because it's very forecastable. You know what I'm saying? It's currency. It moves like this. It's not erratic, and you know what I'm saying, all over the place. So you can predict things from it. That alongside with the data is just powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So for those who are watching, I want to thank you for watching. If you haven't, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So yeah, let's get into why we're here tonight, right? Deuces. So I named the show Deuces because I think it's been a rough year for everyone. I mean, especially, us four right here. And I think that the way things are going, you have to say goodbye, right? You have to. I don't know if it's calling in it on a high note or where we're at with it, but coronavirus. I guess we got to say goodbye to it, right? We got to give the deuces to COVID because people out here partying like it's 1999 or January 2020,
Right.
December 2019.
We was partying hard during that time.
Trap
trivia was lit.
It's like COVID is gone. Like, we got to say goodbye to COVID. I mean, I'm gonna jump right back into the last rap that I have, because this right here, Texas Governor, what's his name, Gregory Abbott, he opened Texas back up. Everything's open 100%. No mask mandatories. You can just do whatever you want, spread your COVID-19 however you want it, right? And I don't know, maybe Texas knows something we don't know. But last time I checked, well, I guess I can't really check anymore because my source used to be the news telling me how many deaths we had, from coronavirus to, or Larry Hogan or whoever's governor telling you what phase we were in. I used to get that daily. Oh, we're still in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, I can't even tell you what phase Maryland is in. I mean, I could look it up probably and probably
1C,
there, but
then 1C. I've been trying to track it for my parents, so
okay,
I know that.
But it's just like it used to be. We were beat over the head for a year. Stay inside. Oh, this is the forced mandatory. Wear your mask. And it's like it's not there anymore. Where did it go? Yeah, and there's the number. Where did it go? I mean, obviously it didn't have to go anywhere. I mean, it was just 500,000. What, last week before last? Now it's at 519. So before I keep going, I know there's 3 other guys that they might have something to say about this.
You got the CB. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, and we've talked about this going on however long. It's so politicized, like the whole coronavirus, COVID stuff at this point. Like, it's wild because Abbott comes out, says that they're opening stuff back up, and then literally starts to say something about how the Democrats are allowing, they're going to be allowing like illegal immigrants or something into Texas. It's going to be putting their people at risk for corona. And it's like, nah, bro, I think you taking away the mask mandate and saying everything can just open up on its own, like as it was before, I think that's actually going to be the thing that's putting the people of Texas at risk for COVID-19 and coronavirus. Like, it's so, it can't be both ways. You can't just be saying, oh, yep, business is good, let's just go, and then be like, oh no, but because of this, So it's just like things don't just magically disappear like this. You know what I mean? Like stuff is still happening. People are still dying. And it really, you think about it, on a world scale, we're still not doing great compared to other countries. Like you look at like a country like New Zealand, they have 5 people in the country that get COVID and they like shut everything down because they've been basically back open. Like it's been crazy. If you live in New Zealand and like say you fly out somewhere and you come back, it's like a mandatory 2-week quarantine in a hotel. Like they have these really strict enforced rules, which has allowed them to basically get back to what living was like before shutdowns happened. And obviously us here, that's not been the case because, you know, people are doing whatever they want because we're Americans. We don't like being told what to do. Nah, you just don't like having certain people tell you what to do. And you just, so it's it's a dangerous thing because for the people of Texas, the businesses there that are still going to be enforcing everything, like Alamo Draft House came out and said that it doesn't matter what state it is. If there's an Alamo Draft House there, they're going not by what politicians are saying, they're going by what doctors and the research and the science is saying. So those people, they're still going to be requiring people to be masked up, people to be social distance, all that, right? So in Texas now, you're going to have businesses that are going to be sticking to their guns of no, we're listening to the science, we're listening to the doctors and everything. And then you're going to have some of these assholes coming in there being like, well, there's no statewide mandate now. You got to give me my Starbucks or whatever, you know, and it's going to be putting them in harm because we've already had stories of people, you know, that are still working in the industries where they're getting like beat up or shot and stuff because of altercations of, you know, turning people away from wearing masks and all that. So it's real, like it's opening up a lot of potential shit. Like it really has the potential to be even more dangerous.
Hopefully they learned from 2 weeks ago when the whole damn state was, you know what I'm saying, damn Frozen movie and their pipes was bursting, walls was leaking water. You know what I'm saying? Your government does not give a fuck about you. Like, and if they don't overturn the administration, you're gonna be in the same damn boat you was in before. Like that should be all crystal clear to Texans right now. I feel like maybe that's just me though. I don't know.
Funny enough, I outside of Texas, because I mean I went to school there, and they no different from any other state. I feel like because of how large the state is, they have that flex of we do whatever we want to do. Like, you know, tell us what we not gonna do and we gonna do the opposite. But interesting enough, Mississippi as well. And the reason why I was kind of tracking that one was because of, you know, Deion's coaching out there. You know how now the state has this, but at the same time, you know, Deion kind of, you know, he's a listen to the science type guy. You know what I mean? He's like, let's look at the numbers. Rightfully so, you know, players is probably, he's still going to probably make his players wear the mask. And I think it's going to set that precedence of, you know, I care for your kid more than, you know, than what the state is allowing just for them to go out and play ball, which again, now, you know, really at the end of the day, to kind of make it short, it's really going to identify who really gives a damn and who doesn't.
Right. And so we already have people out here who conspiracy theorists, right? You know, Trump was supposed to be put back in office today, according to some, you know, conspiracy theories. But this is where I start to play. This involves the vaccine, right? So I've heard a lot of people's thinking, and it's not a conspiracy. This is actually people ways of thinking. I don't need to get the vaccine if you got it. You're good. So I don't care how I am, but I'm with, as long as I'm around you and I know you got the vaccine, you're good. I don't need to get it. Right? What kind of logic is that, right? And then I've heard, but Wendy Williams came out yesterday. Her logic is she doesn't trust it, right? She's not gonna get the vaccine because she doesn't trust it. And that, okay, that's fine. I know people who don't trust it. Hell, I don't trust it yet either. I know in my mind, I know I do want to get it. By the time it gets around to me, there will be some more research, or I can do more research and see what some of these effects are. But yes, I do want to get it. But there are people who are not going to get it because they think that it's the government putting a chip in your DNA. So when the 5G goes live, you're under control. No, and I'm
But they got
serious.
an Instagram account and Cash App and
They said this on social media, right?
Facebook
This is where they're getting
and Twitter, and you know what I'm saying? They're giving up their data willingly. You know what I'm saying? Posting selfies and
on sneakers apps.
Exactly.
Right.
But you worried about the government.
Right.
Let me go on mute.
So I can't think of any logical reason not to get it right when my turn comes. But when the time comes, are you guys? I know we discussed this before, but since we're on the vaccine, is there any concern that anything that will hold you back from getting it right away?
Yeah, it's still not enough. It's still not enough. Like, and I know everybody. Like, again, put it to you like this. I put it to you like this. I mean, everybody can have their opinion, and I value your opinion. Whatever you want to do, it's all about you, your family, whoever you're around. Even I've had the conversation with the folks, and how they feel about it. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm not really running to it, even if my time comes. There's for it to be as bad as it was, even though they kind of boiled it down to whatever you can get. I mean, clearly death is a thing, no different from the flu, whatever the case may be. I'm not getting the shit because I need some more science behind it. And clearly when you go into that notion, I think we were just matter of fact, me and the IT team was just joking about it, how everybody was using baby powder all of a sudden was like, damn, like you might have cancer because you was using the Johnson & Johnson baby powder. And everybody's like, well, yeah, but look how long ago that was when cats was using it, and then at what level. So it's like, you already know about 15 years from now, we all gonna be looking on the TV talking about, did you take the vaccine during such and such, such and such? If you did, go ahead and call us. You might be entitled for a class action lawsuit. Like,
hey, Rich. So what's probably going to happen is that they're going to tie whether or not you've gotten a vaccine to your ability to travel and move. So does that change the value proposition?
No. So listen, even with that though, right? Because really, I think the real majority of it's the kids, right? And the reason why I say, even though they really don't give a damn about them, think about this: what do your kids have to have before they go to school?
Yep,
they gotta have the shot.
They have them before they leave the hospital.
Hold on, but what? But wait, no. Other than going to the hospital, but when you get to a certain age, and depending on what it is, though, there's certain ones where, and here's the thing: this is why now this is our generation talking, right? Lo and behold, what do these kids not get that we used to? That was the thing that we would get: chicken pox, right? Because they made all of a sudden, whether it was a vaccine for it or whether it's just not around based upon whatever they came up with, right? But then it was like that whole thing with the autism and all that other shit. So here's my plan, or here's my thinking. How is it that you can determine which ones I need to go into a certain place when then you still got private schools that you don't even have to do all of that? So you're saying travel wise, if that's the case, no different from when you go to, I think Pops even made it mention, when you go to like Africa or you go to a certain one, there's certain vaccines you have to get. That's mandatory for you to go there. But now as far as travel, because then how are you going to show to everybody else that these people have already had those?
Yeah, so that's why they have like that real ID. They've come, well, at least they rolled that out in Maryland like that, and that's one of the methods they're going to use in being able to tie whether or not you got a vaccine to your passport. But so I mean, I'm just saying they're probably gonna be doing that under the guise of safety.
No, I get that, but the vaccine. Okay, so the other thing with that is you have a pre-existing condition. That's your own doctor, right, says what? I don't really support you getting a vaccine because of something that you already have, and we don't know what's behind it, right? So now what? You rolling around with the doctor's note because you ain't got to get it? Like,
nah, you ain't gonna be able to travel. They're gonna or go to the football game. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot of restrictions. I think once the vaccine is widely available and people start refusing to take it, and that's going to be, and if you notice, the people who have issues with it, rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that is also going to be used as a weapon in your freedoms. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it's going to be. So at some point you got to, figure out whether or not you willing to live without those things, because that's probably what the next move is going to be.
I feel you, but I also don't like the fact that there's 4 different companies out there that give you the damn vaccine that you just like. One is that was 60%.
Yeah, I got a problem with that too. Like the different rates, and then Fauci is just like, take whatever one you can get. I'm like, time out. You gave us the information to tell us which ones are effective, and then you're going to insult me by telling me I should take the first one I can get. I want the one that's most effective. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, those things don't add up. And really, you should prioritize the ones that are least effective in the communities that have access to the best health care, because those are the people that are going to have the best outcomes regardless. But they don't want to do that because that's inefficient. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Guess who has the worst outcomes and are least likely to take the vaccine?
Absolutely. Very good point. Very good point. Let me clarify. I am getting the shot when it rolls around to me. So I didn't sit here and say I wasn't getting it. I said I would love to, by the time it gets to me, we will know more than what we know today, because there have been rollouts before it gets to me. I probably won't get mine till the summer. That's probably when it roll out to me. But I'm just saying, and I can see people's concerns about not wanting to get it. There are some religions, that don't believe in, vaccines or shots or needles and stuff like that. I get that. But like you said, that there are going to be ways. Government regulates everything, right? They are rolling out this this vaccine in mass numbers. They're going to find a way to figure out who has it and who doesn't have it, and then they're going to be. You're going to have your right to choose yay or nay to get it or not, but they will know, and I think you said that it will probably affect traveling, and who knows? It could boil down to concerts too. At a certain point, they're gonna start scanning ID. They know everything else. There's gonna be something so they can figure out who was who and what's going on.
Yeah, I got money to make. I'm trying to get out in the world, man.
Right. I think that I understand a lot of the concern, because we think about how long it normally takes a vaccine to come out, right? Normally it's like years of trials and all this stuff, and we're getting these joints pushed out faster than any other vaccine that I've heard about in my lifetime for something like this, right? And we don't know yet all of maybe the potential side effects and some of that. So for some of them, you hear about there could be issues like being able to have children and stuff like that. So maybe that's going to be playing into certain people's decisions and all that. I think that if people are going to make the conscious decision to not get it, that those people need to at least be doing their part to still be trying to keep other people safe, being masked up, being respectful of people's social distance and stuff. Because the way that someone made this point early on when in quarantine, and it stuck with me just because this is the type of situation that can affect any of us. But for the people that say, oh, I don't need to get it because you got it, that doesn't mean that you have the right to be reckless, because it's the exact same thing as well, it doesn't matter if I'm drunk driving. If everyone else is not drunk driving, then, you know, they'll be all right. When it's like, nah, dog, like you're the one that's putting people at risk. So just because you're not going to get it, that doesn't mean that, because, you know, yeah, if people are like, all right, yeah, cool, I don't need to go anywhere or whatever. I don't need to travel out of the country. I don't need to go this and that or whatever. So they're like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Well, still be the better person and at least be doing what you can, because it shouldn't be this one way or the other where it's like either you're getting it or you're just cavalier and you're just out here like it's the Wild West. You know what I mean? So it's one of those situations where I personally would love to have more information come out. I would love to see more research. I would love for Fauci to be coming out and saying, yeah, this one, that's the one that's actually the one that's gotten the best results in trials, blah, blah, blah. You know, I would love for that. And so it's one of those things where, yeah, eventually when it's my turn, I know that, like I said, like you guys all know, I just became an uncle. My sister is a huge germaphobe and she works in the school system. So she has the access to be able to get it early. And, you know, like not everybody does. But if I want to see my niece, it might come down to, it's either, you're getting it, or for however long, I'm going to always have to be masked up, or I'm not going to be able to have skin to skin. You know, I'm not gonna be able to have like skin to skin contact with her or anything. I gotta have gloves on if I'm holding her or whatever, you know? So I think that each individual is gonna have that decision to make, like, you know, in terms of the way that you live your life. Are you comfortable with the facts that we have out on it? And at the end of the day, we all still need to be doing whatever we can to try to keep the people around us safe. You know what I mean?
Man, it was reported that Trump got the vaccine in January and he had COVID. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Because they're saying, like, for some of them, it's like, oh, well, it's not that you won't be completely resistant to it, but if you get it, it won't be that bad, or like you won't be able to transmit it as easily or something like that. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, if they're all different, wouldn't you want to know which one of those you're actually getting and what it's supposed to actually do, you know? So it's like, I understand some of the apprehension, especially when, you know, there are large groups of people that historically, they're not for the vaccines. Like it is what it is. But we still, as a society, the reason why we're still at where we're at in 2021 is because people aren't respecting other people at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's still oh, well, you know, if I wear gloves and use hand sanitizer, it tears my hands up. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, be real.
Yeah, no, again, you know, it's one of those things. Let's just make it clear. I'm for getting it, knowing that it is for the protection of even others, right? Minus even myself, if I choose to neglect myself, but it's really for others. But again, the science behind it, when you get into the person who's asymptomatic, who might not have the symptoms, but still can transmit the shit, but also just by taking the fucking vaccine don't mean that you can't get it or you can't get it again. I feel like that's the same way with the flu though, right? I don't know, they say, well, you don't die from the flu. Yes, motherfuckers do die from the flu, but just because y'all get the flu vaccine doesn't mean that y'all can't give the flu to somebody else, because you can still get it. So again, that's why I said that piece of, at the end of the day, I'm looking for the vaccine that has the best percentage based upon what the science said that it does for you and for the people that you are around. So that's what it comes to at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that this, knowing that the vaccine is out, right, has given a whole another. It's given an excuse, because there's COVID fatigue has already existed. There's some who quarantined, there's some who didn't quarantine, there's some who quarantined little, but then there's some, you know, who just they can't stand it anymore, and they're out living like it's January 2020, right? And I think that the knowledge of the vaccine and that the rollout is there is a dangerous process. It's a dangerous subject, because it's giving these people who are ready to go out and start living their best life again an excuse to go out. Like, I'm gonna go out. I can do whatever I want to. There's a vaccine out here now. Like I'm safe, and that's what I see on my social media. I saw at a place that you and I, CB, have gone to, one of our favorite hookah spots. They're out here, actually both of them, promoting parties. And last night, a well-known worldwide local DJ threw a party there. He also has the afternoon show on 93.9 and 92.3. You can figure it out from there. Had a party there last night, and it was packed. Like, and I'm guaranteeing you, I could tell by the age range that's in there. Even if it wasn't, 95% of those people hadn't been vaccinated yet. I'm just guaranteeing you that. There's no way in the world everybody in that room had been vaccinated. Maybe 3, maybe 4, but I'm just saying, you're out having these big super spreaders and just living like, oh, there's a vaccine available. So, if I get sick, I'm gonna go to the hospital or move down, I'll just get the vaccine early. That's a dangerous thought process because, again, and that's showing you the numbers, but Superfly just showed us a number of 519,000. And Pops in the chat just said the numbers are still at 1,000 a day.
Shout out to the All-Star weekend that's about to happen.
Right.
About to be stupid in the A.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Let's just go through some of these. Yep.
Yeah, that's real.
Yep. Americans don't like being inconvenienced. Like that's really what it comes down to. We have this.
Let's boil it down to
idea that we can just do whatever.
Yeah. And let's boil it down to we are arrogant. We think we
best
take
country in the world.
Exactly. We can't take any L's. What are you talking about?
We've been
so. And I
think that's what I think is what you said, E. Like there's a couple different things going on. You got the anti-mask people who want to do whatever they want. You got the people that is out and about, black people. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, yo, I'm short anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do I got? I can get this at any time. What do I got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Even if I do go in the hospital, I'm young, so I should be able to get out and be all right. So they're just willing to risk it.
Exactly.
I mean, there was a kid at Clemson, a football player. So you think a collegiate D1 athlete, scholarship athlete at, one of the top football programs in the country, you would think that that's the exact profile of someone who would be able to deal with it, right? This kid had to retire from football at 19 because of complications from COVID. Like, we know that, depending on these statistics, you're less likely, more likely, to have a good experience or a bad experience on it. It could be deadlier for these people, not as deadly for these other people. But, we still gotta, it's like we were talking about. It's just trying to keep the people around us safe. You know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those situations where it's tough. Like, this isn't going to be one of those, like most issues, it's not going to be one of those things where you're going to be able to get everybody on the same side. Like, it's just not how we roll here in this country at all. Everyone likes to have their own opinion. Just open up Twitter, and anyone that has thumbs is going to be on there, just tapping away, saying whatever they want.
Right.
Doing whatever they want.
Right. I mean, I think we're in a society where I'm not going to go back. I mean, once I'm vaccinated, I will still wear a mask for a while. Like, you still have to be smart. You're not immune. Be smart about it. People are going to make their own choice regardless. But, just think about others after you make your decision.
Masks are part of the fit now.
Exactly. So, I'm intrigued by this one. For those who are watching, the This is where E gives his opinion on something, unpopular sometimes.
This one,
but yeah, let's go.
This one's going left for everybody today. I'm already know it right now. It's going left. But CB, actually, you helped me with the segue into this, which you started off the podcast telling everybody what you had divulged in before the podcast, which was a nap, right? And as adults, we take naps very seriously, and how it really helps us maintain when we get them. But is it just me, or the best nap that you ever got was on the cot from when you was a kid? Like the knocked out, just after the graham cracker, the apple juice, whatever you got, that cot is everything, and that was the best nap that you've ever had. Now I know we all got beds and king size this and all these, but that cot knocked you out immediately after recess.
It's either the cot or whatever couch it was coming home from school or wherever it was. Like I don't know why, because this still happens to me, and I want to believe it's not just because I'm getting up there in age, but it's easier for me to pass out on my couch downstairs than it is for me to fall asleep in my bed upstairs. Like it doesn't make sense. How many days a week am I waking up just like, oh shit, it's 2 a.m. Oh, I got a nice mattress that I paid for with my own money upstairs. And this couch we got on Facebook Marketplace for $50. What am I doing? But yeah, dude, the cot after the graham crackers and the apple juice, like drooling everywhere, that did hit different.
Because you also remember you were able to bring home that one. You were also to have that blanket from the crib, so that only just definitely brought it to you. Hey, hold up. First of all, pull Roy is back up.
Roy must have gone to private school. They had beds for everybody.
Listen, I'm sorry for all you East Coasters out there, right? That you had it that way. We couldn't sleep on the floor due to earthquakes, right? So that's why we had the cots. Thank you. You dig? So you get through with all of that. That's the reason why. It ain't no Beverly Hills. That's definitely Pacoima, Simi Valley, all the way through to Inglewood. You can look it up.
I ain't never even thought about that shit, man. With earthquakes, you would get fucked up if you was sleeping on the floor during the earthquake.
Shit. I don't want that alarm clock.
That's
you know what I mean?
Crayon boxes falling all over your shit. Just
I remember.
She tried to stun on us with the Montgomery County Public Schools, right? Roy, trying to stun on us.
I remember preschool we had cots. I really can't remember a nap from preschool. I know some of the best sleep I normally get is in the car. Like it's like I don't know, whether if I'm driving on the passenger seat, that's some of the best some of the best sleep you get is you get behind the wheel, get in the car, and just
that's facts.
It's just
not driving though, bro. Are you
look? It hits the road, do something to you. But
you'd be on the road early. Like you would be doing that, like getting on the road at like 4:35 for whatever job it was you were doing at the time, and that does hit a little bit different when you're actually not on a full night's sleep. That's a little bit different,
right? But yeah, a nap isn't necessarily. A nap can be taken in your bed because that's different. It doesn't feel right. But I think on an old beat up couch, I think that's probably where the best naps come. I remember being young. I remember being able to sleep on the floor as a kid. Right now, if I slept on the floor, you're gonna need to call 911 to get me up off the floor because it hit a lot different as an adult.
It's actually funny when we talk about the floor because as a dude, like it almost like things kind of went cyclical where as a kid could sleep on the floor. They put the little, like if it's not a cot, they put like the little gym mat thing down, which has some padding on it. and you're sleeping on that. And then you get to college, and it's almost like, yeah, well, we're at the homie, we're like, you're visiting the homies, they're in the dorms, they don't got enough beds for everybody. So it's like, yep, I'm just sleeping on the floor. Like it is what it is. And it's like, I'm cool with it or whatever. But it's funny because the 18, 19, younger 20s body deals with that, like Kaleo, like you're talking about. It deals with sleeping on the floor differently than this 30-year-old body. You know what I mean? Like, it feel like I just went through like a full week's worth of workouts, like all stiff, and it's like, yeah.
I can only lay on the floor for like maybe a 5 to 7 minute stretch, and that's just to straighten my back out. Legs propped up on the couch, back flat on the floor. That's the only time I can do the floor.
Yeah.
Quintuple comment, absolutely. That last mile you drove, sleep wide awake.
That drive where you just end up where you supposed to be at, have no idea how you got there.
Jesus, take the wheel, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Too old to be doing that shit now.
Right.
I'm telling. That's true. Oh, that's true. All right, let's go. All right. So here we are. For the soul. CB, what you got for the copper drop?
So this week on the Copper Drop, we are talking about the Nike Overbreak collab that they're doing with Undercover. Undercover, to me personally, is a super dope brand, and I got a couple of different pairs that they've done collabs on with different brands. They've collabed with Nike over the years for a bunch of other stuff. But reason why I wanted to bring these up is because, one, the sale colorway, for whatever reason, over the last, 2 years or so, I feel like is made somewhat of an emergence out there. And we know that most of us are fans of the React cushion in general, and these overbreaks have a lot of them. So these are probably super cozy. And these kind of go along for people that are familiar with the Undercover brand. Like most brands, they have, these launches for whatever that season's, like whatever their fashion is or whatever they're dropping. So like these are they're coming out next week on the 11th, and they're going to be $160. I'm interested, but it's not a must cop for me. But I'm definitely, just because of how much React is on there, I'm very like, the overbreaks just look crazy, and I think that the name kind of signifies it. But they got like a rose that's like stitched on there, and to me, some of those details are dope. Like having just some of that is something that I look for when I'm looking at a collab. That kind of stuff stands out to me.
Are the gray and red pair actually releasing? Did you see those as well?
They're the only ones I know that are dropping next week is these ones, and then it's like the
black and white. Yeah. There's a gray and red pair that's crazy. That's a cop shoe for me. I like the sale joints, but I really want that gray pair.
I saw like the brownish ones, like the camel colored with the red swoosh. Those actually fine. I like that color more than the sale. But like you said, sale has been on a whole new level. It's actually made wearing a white shoe pretty cool because it's not really white and it's not really like a tan. It's just, but yeah, sale is cool, and I've got a bunch of sale laces that I'm rocking some kicks now, just because it's just a different look and different like ambiance to add to a shoe now. But these, I wouldn't cop this model, but again, I'd cop that camel colorway.
No, I'm a cop these. Definitely a cop. This is just clean at the end of the day.
He don't know about the cozy.
The Cozy Boy
You
certified?
don't know about the
Cozy Boy is certified. Price. What'd you say? You said they were 160?
160. Yeah. So
Okay.
like a little bit more than some of the other React models that are out there, but you know,
I love React, man. They even put React. I think they put React in ones soon too.
In some of them, yeah.
So there's a different tier. So the ones actually introduced those. So we got the mid-tier ones that everybody they just shit on the whole time. But then there's like the new ones that have like the tongue is different. It's got the foam, like it's supposed to be
the comfort joints.
The comfort ones, right? And they actually, they got some dope colorways for those.
I have a pair of the Bayou Boy ones, the ones that they did for Zion.
Dope.
And they're still mids. I mean, they're just hot. I'll go first.
You stunting on us?
Old pair, but new, something like that, right? So
these
I'm
the ones
go
we were
with
talking about.
Yeah, these Adidas Dimension Low with the torsion in them. There's a story behind these. Yeah. So I was watching and look, A's right there. See the A's right there. 3 stripes in the A. And this is a good sneakerhead story, like the hunt. I was watching the Pretty Little Fears video, right? Everybody know that's Black and Cole. And in the video, Cole was wearing a pair of shoes that I had. I was like, what are those? I mean, they're dope. So I hit CB. I was like, CB, what are these? We got to find what these are. And literally within a matter of like 5 minutes of searching, we found out what shoe it was. And I was on eBay trying to find out who had a pair of my size. I couldn't find. He had the white colorway, but then they didn't have the white colorway in my size, and they end up with these. And I'm like, actually, this color is dope because it got the gum bottom, and then the colors are, me. I like colors, so. But yeah, that's that. Who's up next?
I'll go.
There you go.
And probably showed them before, but we doing this based upon where we at. 20 years ago, these shoes were dropped. And if you know what happened 20 years ago, then you already know what I'm about to pull up. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a special drop, if you will, when these came out. So just for the anniversary love. And again, like I said, I've definitely probably showed them before. But again, 20 years ago, these dropped. And again, we just talked about the 11s and how we made them what they were. And when they came out with the different colorways, it is what it is. And still icy, Pops. Ain't worn them since. Not even in that. Still icy. Look at that. No marks whatsoever.
That patent leather still looks pristine.
It is. Very. So they
no creases in them joints.
None. 20 years ago today, they said he dropped these. So when we talk about the nostalgia, the stories, what we saw when he put them on his feet. This is when, rocking the Wizards jersey, but
I'm saying, yeah, that Wizards jersey, man.
There's some dope colorways out of those Wizards years, so
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
All right. So me and you had talked about potentially not getting stuff shipped in on the expected date, and then DHL surprised me, and I was delivered something on the expected date. So these dropped in China, and I don't remember if they've done the domestic drop yet, but this was a must-have for me this year. This was me spending a pretty silly amount of dough, but it's because I'm using some fantasy football winnings. So these shoes will be forever tied to me winning some fantasy football championships. But these are the re-release of Air Max 1 Clot Kiss of Deaths, which these released back in 2006, the original one. So you can still, the originals go for like $2,000 on StockX right now. And the only thing is, like, for a shoe that's that old, you don't know if they're still going to keep up. But like y'all know, I pulled out the Clot 14s the other week. So the color scheme is pretty similar. But these were, being an Air Max 1 fan, this has been a shoe just in general for years that I've been looking at. Yeah. And they did come with extra laces, which I will be swapping over to the red laces because that's just how I rock. And not everyone's into like the clear aesthetic, but that's one of the things that I am into. And so these are going to be, this is a grail, but I am going to be rocking these. Like, people
can you show the bottom again?
It's got like a footprint on there, and it's cool because it's like, even on, does this come out? I don't even want to mess with it, but like on the insole, like just some of the details are crazy. And like, if you can see, it's kind of like got like the snake skin effect to it. And what's cool about the red laces is they're like wax compared to the standard like tan laces that come on there that are just regular laces. But these were, once I saw that they were re-releasing them, I was like, as soon as they're available on StockX, I'm gonna buy them, because obviously we know people are getting pairs early and they're selling them. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't even matter what the price is, really. I was like, I'm copping these. So it's one of those things where I actually cop to. So yeah, that's this is one of those.
Oh,
this will be in the running. This will be in my running for sneaker of the year already. It's
about to say, like, I CB got. I mean, you got all five. You got sneakers of the year so far, man. Like, I can imagine, like, when it comes down to the end of the year, you're gonna have some trouble picking out.
I told you I got an alert today. I forgot I'd put a bid in on these joints, but I got an alert today that I got something else coming in that they haven't done the domestic drop yet either. So I was like, all right, well, burning through these fantasy football winnings, but that's what it's there for, right?
Here we go. Like, I want CB to pick my fantasy team next year. This guy's like, he stays on the win.
Bro, I'm not even kidding. I literally, not to toot my own horn when it comes to this particular form of gambling, but earlier in the fall, I was having some car issues, so I wasn't able to make it out to one of the softball games that I was supposed to be playing in. And one of my homies on the team had a fantasy draft that night. So he was like, yo, if you can't come to the game, can you draft my team for me? I was like, yeah, that's easy. He ended up winning his championship based off of mostly the players that I drafted for him. So I was like, yo, people need to know that I'm pretty good at this thing. And, these shoes will forever be tied to one specific fantasy championship that I won this year, like forever. Like, that's what I'm going to be able to look at them and say, yeah, that I got these because of that. Right? Shout out to Lamar Jackson. That's my dude.
All right, y'all. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching, for tuning in. This is the last one.
The host needs to tell the story how that
shit. We getting there. Look, I got something for that. We getting there. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching. Wear your masks. By the way, Coming to America is out already. If you just didn't hear that announcement, it's out. I don't even know how long it is, but I know as soon as I get off this, I'm hitting click on the Amazon Prime and we're off. Me and CB still got an announcement to make. We've been promoting this announcement. I think our travel agent is on the maybe in the chat too. Our booking agent.
Right. I think they're checking on our passports to see if we've been vaccinated or not.
Exactly. But eventually, we got an announcement to make, and it's gonna be pretty dope. But other than that, y'all, we'll see y'all next week. We something else. Deuces.
Peace.